In this video, I'll show you June 10, 2019, mechanic Roland Edger traveled to the Progressive Union Missionary Baptist Church in Huntsville, Alabama, to repair the car of a long-term client whose vehicle had broken down in the parking lot while she was working as a teacher at the church. When he first inspected the vehicle at around 2 p.m. in the afternoon, Mr. Edger concluded that he would need to come back later with additional tools to fix the car. That evening, he returned to the church with his stepson, Justin Newby, to work on the vehicle. A security guard observed the two men working on the vehicle and called 911, reporting that the men were, quote, messing with an employee's car that was left on the lot. About 30 minutes later, Officer Krista McCabe of the police department arrived, and the interaction that followed was captured on body camera.
Good. How are y'all doing?
Spark. How you doing?
What are y'all doing?
I'm from second description.
Huh?
What are y'all doing?
Get in the car.
36,
Is this your car?
Here's to be a drive-off tag.
One of my customers.
1867.
One of your customers?
No, tell. Yeah. I was over here earlier.
Whose car is that?
That's mine.
The black one?
Yeah.
Alright, take a break for me real fast, and y'all have driver's license or IDs on you?
I ain't gonna submit to no ID. Listen, you call this lady right now. Listen, I ain't got time for this. I've been all worried. I don't mean to be rude or nothing.
Okay, no, you do need to give me your ID
No,
or driver's license.
Listen, I don't want you to run me in and for nothing.
Are you refusing to give me your ID or driver's license?
I'm telling you, if you call this lady on this
Step
car.
over that one.
Come on, man. See, here's y'all playing.
You're playing right now. We don't got time for this. We really don't got time for this.
Officer McCabe demands that Mr. Edger provide his driver's license, and when he refuses, Officer Cameron Paralat handcuffs him. In general, as the Supreme Court explained in the 1991 case of Florida versus Bostick, even when officers have no basis for suspecting a particular individual of criminal activity, they can ask questions of that individual and even request the individual's identification, quote, as long as the police do not convey a message that compliance with their requests is required. However, as the Supreme Court noted in the 1983 case of Florida versus Royer, quote, the person approached need not answer any question put to him. Indeed, he may decline to listen to the questions at all and may go on his way. He may not be detained even momentarily without reasonable objective grounds for doing so, and his refusal to listen or answer does not, without more, furnish those grounds. Nonetheless, the Supreme Court held in the 2004 case of Heibel versus 6th Judicial District Court of Nevada that although the Constitution itself does not create an obligation for individuals to identify themselves when officers have the reasonable suspicion necessary to detain a citizen. Quote, a state law requiring a suspect to disclose his name in the course of a valid Terry stop is consistent with Fourth Amendment prohibitions against unreasonable searches and seizures. Alabama's so-called Stop and Identify law, which is found in Section 15-5-30 of the Alabama Code, provides that a law enforcement officer now quoting may stop any person abroad in a public place whom he reasonably suspects is committing, has committed, or is about to commit a felony or other public offense, and may demand of him his name, address, and an explanation of his actions. Accordingly, even assuming for the sake of argument that the officers had reasonable suspicion to believe that Mr. Edger was engaged in criminal conduct, Alabama's Stop and Identify law would not authorize Officer McCabe to require him to display his driver's license, as the statute clearly identifies the only three things that the officers may demand of a suspect there.
So, I'm 36.
Turn the other way.
Now, press my left arm up in there. I twisted my left one. I asked you, sir.
All right, I'm gonna undo your cuffs.
Yeah,
and you twist your wrist around.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm gonna give you my ID. I have my pocket.
Hey, man. Will you go stand in front of my car for me?
Hold on, give me my ID, man.
No, we'll get your ID.
Keep your wrist like that.
All right.
All right.
They're good now.
No, look.
They're good right now. They're not too tight.
Okay, you're under arrest for obstruction.
I didn't do nothing.
All right, so if you resist any further, you will also get charged with resisting arrest. You understand?
Listen, I give you my ID. I tell you what's going on. This is ridiculous. I'm trying to get a customer's car here. I'm in a rush. My shop's unlocked over on Governor's Drive right now. Man.
Officer McCabe informs Mr. Edger that he is under arrest for obstruction. Alabama's obstruction statute, found in Section 13A-10-2 of the Alabama Code, provides that an individual now quoting commits the crime of obstructing governmental operations if, by means of intimidation, physical force or interference, or by any other independently unlawful act, he intentionally obstructs, impairs, or hinders the administration of law or other governmental function, the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of Alabama held in the 2023 case of Jennings v. Smith that an individual's failure to identify themselves when officers have reasonable suspicion to believe that they may be committing a crime can constitute a so-called independently unlawful act that violates the obstruction statute. However, as we discussed earlier in this episode, Alabama's Stop and Identify statute does not require citizens to provide physical identification, which is the only thing that the officers requested from Mr. Edger before arresting him. And while officers have the authority to demand driver's licenses when they pull over individuals, for potential traffic violations, there is no requirement under Alabama law that would require Mr. Edger to provide his driver's license in this situation, even if a court concluded that the officers had reasonable suspicion to detain him. Accordingly, it is highly unlikely that a court would determine that the officers had probable cause, or even arguable probable cause, to arrest Mr. Edger for obstruction or any other offense. Do you want my ID?
Where's your ID?
It's in the car, I'm sure. I thought it was in my pocket. You're all down in my pocket for no reason.
Now 47, officer 13.
I said my ID is in my car. Go over and walk in and get my car.
Okay, well, he's still going to check your pocket because I don't know what's in them, all right? And you're not going to get placed in my car without knowing what's in your pocket.
You shut up.
Is that how you talk to someone? Is that all officers supposed to talk to someone like this?
Yeah, we're here doing a custodial search on you.
I didn't do anything. What y'all need to do is call Miss Noel Patel right there in this office right here and hand me the key. That's what you need to do.
I already explained to you, all right?
Man, I am such a rush. How long has it been, man? I've been trying to get over and get this car all day. And then there it is, okay. Look at it.
3821 Crane Drive.
That's it right there.
Is that all his pocket?
I think she's having problems with her landlord who's making
I got
threats.
change and stuff like that.
The officers searched Mr. Edger's pockets before placing him in the back seat of the police cruiser. In the 1973 case of United States v. Robinson, the Supreme Court held that law enforcement officers are authorized to conduct a warrant list, so-called full search of the person incident to a custodial arrest without violating the Fourth Amendment. In reaching this conclusion, the court noted that, quote, a custodial arrest of a suspect based on probable cause is a reasonable intrusion under the Fourth Amendment, that intrusion being lawful a search. Incidents. The arrest requires no additional justification. However, it is important to note that this exception to the warrant requirement for searches only applies to constitutionally lawful arrests, and in situations where the underlying arrests are not based on probable cause, any evidence obtained during the search of the arrestee can typically be suppressed. Therefore, in this case, it is highly likely that a court would conclude that because the officers did not have probable cause to arrest Mr. Edger, their search of his person also violated the Fourth Amendment. It is necessary.
Listen, I didn't do anything. Please listen.
I've already told him that he's under arrest.
This is ridiculous, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, look, I didn't do the crime, but she's trying to arrest somebody for not doing a crime. She's trying to arrest me for obstruction. For what? I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. Huh? That's what I'm saying.
Sit down.
Listen,
Sit down.
Please listen.
Sit down.
That's what I'm saying, man. I got my shop unlocked over there. I'm trying to confide. Man, please listen to me.
Sit down
in the car.
Man, this is... Please listen.
No, you don't want to listen to us.
I'm trying to explain to you. I'm trying to explain.
Stay.
Okay, once again, just have a seat right there for me, okay?
I'm not under arrest.
Do you have... No, I just need your ID. Thank you. Okay. So, all right, he is going to jail. All right? Yes. Okay, well, that sucks. I mean, good people go to jail too. Good people, bad people, if they break the law, they break the law, they go to jail. All right? I asked him multiple times for his ID or driver's license. Did I not? Yep. Okay. Then he refused. I asked him again if he was sure that he was refusing to give it to me. He confirmed that he was refusing to give it to me, and at that point, he is obstructing an investigation, and he is going to jail. All right? I'm out here because I got a call stating that that vehicle, okay, is an employee here, and you guys were inside the car, and you're not supposed to be inside the car. Okay? And that's fine. All right? But I'm still here making sure that you're not doing anything illegal. But it took me now, how long have I been out here? Like 5, 6, 7-ish minutes, okay? I'm just now getting to tell you why I'm here because of his action. All right? I'm just now getting to explain what I'm investigating because he deterred me from doing that.
That's his car. He owns the body shop from Governor's Shell Station, Auto Collision. He owns that. I've been with him. Look.
Y'all call. Okay. So whose car is it that is an
It's
employee?
Miss Dola. She works here.
Which
at the
car is
daycare.
it that's hers?
The red one.
Okay. Is she here?
No, ma'am. They've already went home for the day.
Okay. Well, what's her last name?
I'm not sure.
Is it Perez, maybe? Does anybody know what it is?
Because I'm just a security guard, and all I seen was them jacking up a car.
You can't get away with stuff like that. Acting the way that he did. All right? And refusing to give his identification. I gave him plenty of opportunity.
Give me his ID in which he confirmed that obstruction. They say you're going to jail for obstruction. No, there's no crowd committee. There is. You refused multiple times to identify yourself to me. You can argue that point in court. Now, what do you have to say? What do you need to release to your son? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Really? I mean, okay, you have nothing else. Okay, cool. What do you need for this? Well, obviously, he doesn't want to talk about that. He wants to talk about him being charged, so I have the keys to that car on the top of the car. You're free to go. What's up? He'll be able to call someone once he gets into jail. As soon as he gets done. As soon as he gets booked on, you saw that all he wanted to talk to was either me or that officer. He didn't want to talk to you after we told him multiple times to talk to you. 6. I can't bother watching along around the house yet. Don't do me this way. I don't need my face. I go to church. I'm a good person. Okay, you break the law. Oh, all right? Please, what about my money and stuff? It's right here in my seat. Please don't do me this way. Man, this is going to blow my whole paycheck trying to make some bails. Please don't. I know we're here now, and and you're not happy with me, but I'm very sorry. Like I said, all I would have done when I got there is get y'all's ID to see who you are, all right? I would have called. I'm not going to butcher his last name, all right? I'm not even going to try. I would have called that male. Oh, whoever's car that was. Okay, that's how it would have been. I would have called him. I would have verified that you're supposed to be there with the car, and I would have said, y'all have a great night. All right, but there was no way that you would have been reconsidered after. No, sir. If we do that, then everyone would, Would you take a moment and just let me talk to you for a second here, though? I mean, we were already at jail. All right, let's come over here. After his arrest, Mr. Edger was charged with obstructing, but the city of Huntsville later dismissed the charge. On February 9, 2020, Mr. Edger filed a false arrest lawsuit against Officer McCabe, Officer Paralat, and the city of Huntsville in federal court. Despite determining that the officers did not have actual probable cause to arrest Mr. Edger, the district court granted the officers qualified immunity and dismissed Mr. Edger's complaint, reasoning that the officers had arguable probable cause to make the arrest because a reasonable but mistaken officer could have believed that Mr. Edger's refusal to provide physical identification was a crime. Mr. Edger appealed to the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals, and in an opinion issued on September 26, 2023, the Court of Appeals reversed the district court's decision, determining that Officer McCabe and Officer Paralat were not entitled the qualified immunity. In reaching this conclusion, the court noted that, quote, "It has been clearly established for decades prior to Mr. Edger's arrest that the police are free to ask questions and the public is free to ignore them, and the state statute itself in this case is clear and requires no additional construction. Police are empowered to demand from an individual three things: name, address, and an explanation of his actions. Under this set of facts and these precedents, no reasonable officer could have believed there was probable cause to arrest Mr. Edger for obstructing governmental operations. The Court of Appeals remanded the case to the district court to move forward with the case, and as of the date of writing this episode, the lawsuit is still pending. Overall, Officer McCabe and Officer Paralat get an F for maintaining a hostile and impatient demeanor throughout the encounter, demanding that Mr. Edger show his ID when there was no legal basis to require him to do so, and arresting Mr. Edger without any probable cause to reasonably believe that he had committed a crime. This encounter escalated remarkably quickly, with the officers beginning to handcuff Mr. Edger as he was attempting to provide an explanation of his actions, which is required by Alabama's Stop and Identify statute, and ultimately arresting him for not handing over his driver's license, which is not required by Alabama's Stop and Identify statute. Although Mr. Edger offered his driver's license at least 3 times before the officers could finish handcuffing him, the officers refused to accept his ID at that time and decided it was the most effective use of their time to continue with the unlawful arrest with Officer McCabe, then complaining about the quote, UN quote delay that her decision to illegally arrest Mr. Edger caused. This encounter is a perfect example of what is often referred to as a contempt of cop arrest, and demonstrates how ego-driven officers can become so obsessed with obtaining physical identification and receiving complete compliance from citizens that they limit their own ability to effectively conduct investigations, while also violating the constitutional rights of the citizens they have sworn to protect. Mr. Edger gets an A for refusing to show his identification when he was not legally required to do so, physically complying with the arrest while verbally challenging the officer's unconstitutional actions, and taking appropriate legal action after his unlawful arrest. Although Mr. Edger did eventually concede to the officer's illegal demands for his driver's license, I cannot fault him for attempting to avoid an arrest, and I strongly commend Mr. Edger for his commitment to his constitutional rights and his willingness to pursue a lawsuit all the way to the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals. Qualified immunity is a difficult legal hurdle for a civil rights plaintiff to overcome, and the fact that Officer McCabe and Officer Paralat lost their qualified immunity in Mr. Edger's case shows just how unconstitutional their actions truly were. I congratulate Mr. Edger on his appellate victory and wish him the best of luck. Thank you very much for watching the video. Subscribe our channel for next video.